it's me, Bussy, and welcome back to Hat or Rat. And today we'll be reviewing the penultimate episode of Drag Race Holland, where our girls lip-synced to Maxima, the Rusical, and walked the runway 3 more times in a Holland-themed ball of sorts. A balland, if you will. The categories were beachwear, cocktail dress, and evening gown attire. But before we get into those looks, I do want to say thank you so much for being here and to remind you to click that like button if you like what you're seeing and press subscribe if you want more. And make sure you stay tuned until the end of today's video because I had a chance to catch up with last week's robbed queen from another dimension, Chelseaboy. And speaking of extraterrestrials, first up is Envy Peru in a beachwear look she has entitled Entering Stargate. I hope you like water sports because this one really makes a splash on the runway. She's in a red and white PVC bodysuit with some beautiful sculpted water coming up around her shoulders and around her waist. It kind of looks like she went swimming in a pool in space where there was no gravity and the water just slowly rose up and then froze around her like that. This was a really smart and different way to think about how to incorporate water into a look without it actually being water. The blue here is subtle. It's in her hair and then on her little bracelet accessories around her wrist. And I don't know if you clocked it, but that is the same hair from her promo shoot. I also want to point out her tights here, which give her body a little bit of color and sheen as well, which kind of add to that futuristic space theme and make it look a little bit more expensive than a dull flat stocking, which we will see and I'll point out on some of the other queens. This is definitely a WAP, a wet ass Peru. And this look took me to the future and beyond. It's hot. The last look gave us body without showing any skin, but this next look is cut so high you can almost see her cocktail. It's kind of done with a wink wink because everything is so couture, high fashion, and forward thinking. And then you see that little rhinestone panty sticking out of the bottom and you have to laugh. This look really cemented for me that Envy Peru is just a walking goddess on earth. My god, who gets hair done like that? She has the full flying saucer on her head, perfectly sculpted, not moving as she walks down the runway. This look is very Judy Jetson Hooker, if you get my reference, but in a really good way. It's done so well. I do want to point out here, we are also seeing another piece from her promo look. We love a queen that can reuse and recycle. And now thinking back on it, it was actually a little bit weird that they did a red, white, and blue promo theme when they had a red, white, and blue themed ball on the episodes. Typically they don't repeat themes for promos, but they did, and so I guess we really can't be too mad that the queens reused pieces in those promo looks. Like Rue would say, only Judy can judge her. Judy Jetson, that is. This look is hot. And finally, she's cleaning up the galaxy, one table at a time. Table for two? This is seriously like the sexiest napkin I have ever seen. So while I do very much like this look, I think the cut and fold of this gown could have been finessed a little bit better so that she didn't look like a walking silverware set. My favorite parts of this look are those latex red boots that go all the way up. When she popped that leg out, I was like, yes, mama, show us the dinnerware. And then she has this blue square tulle face piece on that is just so beautiful. So was this third course as tasty as her first two? Not in my personal opinion, but it is still delectable. She kept a cohesive futuristic thread throughout each of her runways, and this one is exceptionally clean. By design, of course. It's hot. I love that each look felt like a natural progression to the next. Each one, of course, tying back into that cosmic futuristic theme that she brought to the runway. Next up, bikini, meanie, miny, ho. It's Mama Queen in her beachwear look. She said that this was giving a burlesque fantasy. I'm not really sure that I got that besides in the hair and the boa. But while we're talking about that hair, let's talk about that hair and makeup. It is so gorgeous. I gasped. This is so, so beautiful. Oh my god. Neck up, hot, hot, hot. Of course, you know, when I say that, we typically are going to be critiquing the outfit. Without the boa, the swimsuit really falls flat. The cut is very strange, especially around the hips. The blue ends a little too early. It needs to come up and give her a higher waist. She really cut off her hips by doing it the way she did and made her torso look extra, extra long. And as I mentioned earlier, this is one of the queens that didn't choose the correct heights. I think the judges brought this up as well. The thing with the beachwear look is it really is so centrally focused around your legs, and we can see a lot of leg. They just kind of looked very dull and not shiny, and that's the last thing that you want in a beachwear look. I also don't like the shoe here. It has a strange pattern, it's open-toed, and it's a little bit low. There needs to be more burlesque elements. Let me see the nipple tassels. Take one piece off at a time. Where's the gloves? Where's the fascinator? I mean, she just didn't go all the way in either direction and ended up in murky waters. This look is going to be a rat. As for her cocktail dress, I love that Mama Queen in a cocktail dress carrying a cocktail down the runway is exactly how I picture her in my mind's eye. This look has all the shape and body that I wanted in the swimwear look, and I love that gradient going down that white. It looks almost kind of like a gray blue that it's fading into with some rhinestones at the bottom dangling down from the hem. She's reminded me of a rich socialite at a fundraiser that she spent more money to host than she actually will raise for charity. And look how skinny that nose is. You knows she bought it. If this look were a drink, I'd say give me a double. It's hot. And everyone knows after a cocktail or two, you have to let them eat cake. Mama Queen's evening gown look is a little bit Marie Antoinette, a little bit I Dream of Janey with those harem pants under the white skirt. That's a little confusing for me. We also see the theme of reusing pieces from promos come up in this look. That red corset is in her promo look. And then that heart she used in her Mary runway. I'm not mad about them reusing pieces from their promo, but I do get a little bit like, when I see them reuse accessories from different runways, especially when it just doesn't make sense to do so. Like, what did this giant heart jewelry piece add to this runway? It should have been left out, and as for the rest of the outfit, I really want her to pick a destination, kind of like I did with the swimwear, and just go all the way, instead of trying to balance these harem pants with a huge ball gown bottom piece attached to the corset. You see, the thing is, with those huge hooped out gowns like that, you really want to see a skinny leg on the inside to give that contrast, because all this billowing fabric makes her just look kind of lost. The hair, though, I think we do have to give her major props for. It's a giant beehive sticking out at like a 45-degree angle, which I'm not sure is typical of that era. I think usually they went straight up at a 90-degree angle from the head, but I kind of like that it's sort of awkward and bouncing along as she walks down the runway. It really gives her a unique flair, that Mama Queen uniqueness on this runway. If this look were a piece of cake, I don't think I'd want seconds. It's a rot. Overall, across her 3 looks, Mama Queen failed to create a cohesive story. However, she did excellent in the main challenge. I kind of think they all did. It was a pretty good rusical. Up next, Miss Abby H2. Oh my gosh. Her beachwear look is entitled Punk Beach. She walked out, I said, oh my god, I love it. Abby also reused a piece from her promo look, that giant tulle coat that she's wearing when she initially walks out on the runway. This look has a double reveal, although I think really only one was necessary. I don't think it really told much of a story to come out in that tulle coat, because it doesn't really match that punk mohawk or the sunglasses in any way, because it's a little too like pretty. So she takes it off and reveals this red chrome bodysuit, bathing suit thing, of course showing off her body. It simply just wouldn't be an Abby runway if she wasn't showing off some of that beautiful skin. The second reveal is the mohawk to the ultra long red wig. And I really liked the mohawk, and I was sad to see it go, because then she just revealed it to a really flat red wig. And it wasn't surprising, because we've seen Abby in really long flat wigs almost every single runway of this competition. Another reason I think the hair reveal was a bit of a mishap, the lace sticking out from under the mohawk. Sure, that's not something the judges could see from the panel, but honey, it is something we clocked on that HGTV screen. All things considered, I'd say this beachwear look is quite swell and warming up to a hot. As for her cocktail dress, well, I think it's quite toxic. The Britney Spears reference, I love that. Toxic is one of my favorite music videos of all time, and I know I'm like totally basic cliche gay for saying that, but hey, I can't help it, that's just who I am. Hashtag free Britney. This was really fun and refreshing to see Abby fly down the runway in something chic, fashion forward, while also giving a pop culture reference. The fabric is interesting. It kind of looks like lace or paper when you fold it into really tiny squares, then cut patterns into it. It's cool, it's fun. She really served a perfect landing with this look. It's hot. And finally, I'm so proud to see it. Turn that frown upside down if you had it with this evening gown. This is the most beautiful Abby has looked on the runway, period. And look how long and beautiful her neck and clavicles look. It is quite a shame, however, that the first thing my eye went to was that little red, white, and blue ribbon sash around her waist. The judges pointed it out, and it really is an eyesore on this beautifully shaped gown. I mean, why? Why did we do that? One of the reasons I'm loving this so much is because we're seeing some really beautiful off-the-shoulders hair, which might be a first for Abby on the runway, but it looks really great on her and lengthens her body. Look how tall she looks in this outfit. Changing the way your body is shaped with the silhouette and playing with different hair lengths can totally change how you perceive somebody. Think about somebody like Lady Gaga, who is 5'2", but you would never know or think that just looking at her from a photo. Partly in fact because she probably typically is wearing 8-inch heels, but it's all about proportions, and the same exact thing goes for taller people. We saw Mama Queen struggle to create an effective silhouette with her swimwear look. Her legs looked a little too long, but I will say figuring out your own body's proportions and how they work with different types of silhouettes can be a challenging thing that can take years to accomplish. But yeah, this is it. This really is it. Abby, Abby, Abby. Oh my god. A princess and a queen in one. This look is hot. While this last look certainly was fabulous, I think Abby failed, like Mama Queen did, to have a cohesive theme throughout her 3 looks, which when you compare it to Envy's, or like we'll see in a second with Janey's, really stands out. And finally, last but certainly not least tonight, Jacke. Before we talk about her looks, I have to call out her musical performance. The dancing, the tango, the drops, oh my god, perfection from A to Z. I was kind of starting to sleep on Miss Janey in this competition, but tonight she reminded us all why she's in the top 4 and why she could possibly win the crown. Let's go to the beach. Let's go get away. If you can't beach them, join them. Okay, I'm done. Now this is a very pretty classic sort of pageant-y swimsuit. It's very simple, pretty, womana, just a natural Pamela Anderson at the beach coming out of the fresh, salty waves, taking the towel off and shaking that beautiful blonde hair. Oh, she looks so gorgeous. I love that we've seen Janey really play with different hair colors, and I think has been super successful in every color that she's tried on the runway. Only thing that I don't like about really all 3 of her looks is the way that she put little nude illusion pieces in each of the looks on her chest and breast area. It looks a little bit strange to me. I don't know, maybe it's the lighting though, playing with that. Doing that, however, does allow you to do things that wearing a titty bib, for example, wouldn't allow you to do, because if you are wearing those big giant knockers that have the neck piece, well then you've got to wear the necklace to hide the seams, you know, yada yada yada. Anyways, I'd say, Shell, yeah, this look is hot. As for her cocktail dress, something about this look in particular really reminded me of Trinity the Tuck. I feel like she wore a similarly sculpted hair with a similarly strappy or shaped dress. Regardless, she looks very pretty in this look. Again, that nude illusion thing is happening that we saw in this swimsuit. This is where I think it is the least effective, and I think the issue really is the color of it. It's almost like yellow against her very pale peachy skin. The sequin straps making this dress though, the way they interlace around her waist on the bottom of this dress in particular is my favorite part of this look. Unfortunately, it just starts to look a little bit lazy as you move your eyes up the gown. The waist has vertical stripes and then just an X pattern across the chest. I wanted that woven pattern done throughout the entire dress, or cut out the nude illusion part and show off your chest. Let me see those clavicles and neck. And also might have looked just a little bit better if it was just one strap shorter. I think the length ages her just a little bit too much because she is quite a young and gorgeous, beautiful pageant queen. That said, it certainly is not a bad look at all. I'm just being picky because we're in the final 4. In fact, is that Fireball I'm tasting in this cocktail? Because I think this look is warming up to a hot. And finally, an evening gown that Maxima would be proud of. Here, the nude illusion fabric doesn't bother me because it is in such small proportion to the rest of the colors and textures, and it's just not quite as invasive, and we can see her entire chest, and it's so pretty. She looks so beautiful. I would say you're definitely doing a pageant correctly when your last look, especially in the evening gown category, is the best of your 3. Her looks tonight are like a perfectly sequenced Pokemon evolution ending in this really, really beautiful final form. I love the white glove and the shoulder piece coming up on one side of her body. I love, love, love an asymmetrical moment. Also, like a true queen, she could have very easily not worn nails on the hand that doesn't have the glove, but oh, trust, she put the nails on. She is a true pageant queen, and bitch, she came to win. She said, I'm not gonna let that detail go undone. No ma'am. And the thing is, you can't leave any detail undone on this stage when you're competing against Envy Peru. Old school, new school, whatever you wanna call it, she schooled the children. And if you're not teaching the children, you are not doing drag. Janey was a tiger on the runway and wore her stripes with pride. This look is hot. Like Envy, Janey had a vision and a cohesive plan for each of her looks that really tied everything together, quite literally with strips of fabric. As for the judging, Fred, you look beautiful tonight. But what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Not sure if Fred or anyone else knows either. I think they have totally put it on autopilot, or maybe they had everything so pre-planned and they were scared to deviate from their plan. That maybe is what happened. I don't know, but it was a bit of a mess. Let's talk about it. Fred asked each of the girls who they think should go home. Envy says Abby, Mama says Envy. In a weird last-ditch attempt to get rid of the best person in the competition, like that would have ever happened. Abby has her rainbows and smiles moment and says she wants to see everybody in the finale. And how she got away without saying a girl's name, I don't know, because we know Rue would have pressured her for that name. And finally, Janey says Abby. She is the obvious choice to send home here, not because of how she performed in the competition, but because she's already been in the bottom 4 times, 5 times, I don't lost count. Anyways, the win goes to Janey. No surprise, like I said, oh my god, her performance in the musical, flawless, stunning, gorgeous, never been done before, perfect, all of those words. And then her runways, killer, killer, killer. She, wow. The bottom 2 is also no surprise. It's Mama Queen versus Abby in a final pre-finale lip sync. to Stronger by Mariah Carey. Y'all, that lip sync was a mess. Part of the reason it was a mess was because these queens are wearing these huge elaborate costumes. I mean, at least let them go change if you're gonna give them Mariah Carey Stronger. And if you wanna see my raw, uncut reaction, well, that's posted over on patreon.com/bussyqueen. In general, it seems a little weird that they had them lip sync at all because it felt like Fred was going to progress all of them to the finale anyways, like regardless of what happened. To no one's surprise, I'd say Abby wins the lip sync, but they both stay, which is cool, but it just doesn't really have that same emotional impact that it would have had if they hadn't lip synced at all, or if the lip sync had been amazing and there had truly been a reason for a double Shantae. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I'm just happy that I get to see Drag Race, especially in a foreign country like Holland, and learn a little bit about their culture. And when you're learning and living and enjoying others, that's all that matters. This is all just for fun and silly. And yeah, sometimes we take things really seriously here, but we all know it's done with a wink. I'm a man in a wig in front of a green screen in a studio apartment, okay? It's not that serious. Much like Drag Race, this show is for your entertainment. This is not the Bible of drag. This week, my hottest hot and favorite singular runway look is going to be Janey Jacke's evening gown look. However, my hottest set of looks goes to Envy Peru. I also asked my patrons over on patreon.com/bussyqueen to vote for their hottest hot, and this week they've chosen Janey Jacke's evening gown look. Here's what they had to say. Janey's looks were my fave. Maybe I've been binging too much Project Runway, but I loved that her 3 looks were a stunning and coherent collection. It was hard to choose between Janey, Jacke, and Mama Queen. Hard to choose between Envy's cocktail dress and JJ's everything. And finally, let's blast off to another dimension with Chelseaboy.
Vroom vroom bitches, it's Chelseaboy here, ready to take you to a new cosmic dimension.
Oh, yes. Can you just kind of, as a start, explain your drag name for everybody that's watching?
Chelsea is the name that my mother would have given me if I was born a different sex. So that's where Chelsea comes from. And the boy part is basically me mixing up girl and boy and having this intertwinement of gender. And that's where Chelseaboy came from. And it's a reference to a comic from the 90s, which is about 3 gay guys living in the neighborhood Chelsea, Manhattan, New York. And since I'm really inspired by pop culture and American culture, I picked that name.
And I think what you said about your name, Chelsea and Boy, is so representative of your drag, because we get to see so much like gender bent kind of fantasy from you, playing with the androgyny and like leaning into both sides. Has your drag always been like that?
Yeah, I think so. I started off as a female impersonator. It was pure femme. Already there was that masculine energy shining through my eyes. Later on, I decided that I didn't feel the full freedom to express my drag the way I liked it. So I quit for a while, I changed my name up, and then came with Chelseaboy, which gave me space to just experiment and do whatever I like.
Thinking about how crazy these runways were, did you feel like the judges got you? Did they understand what you were doing?
I think they did their best in trying to understand what I was doing. Of course, my references are sci-fi, and that's very specific. If you're not a sci-fi fanatic, it's hard to get some of these references, so I don't really blame them. But I must say, for example, with the split personality, I would have loved to have seen them dig a little bit deeper. With all types of arts, there's many ways to interpret it.
With the judges not maybe understanding some of your references, do you think overall on the competition, the judging was fair?
You know, what's fair judging when you talk about art? Everybody looks at it with their own vision, with their own eye, and with their own references. Yeah, I think every judge individually and also as a team of judges, I think they judged fairly based upon what they know and what they appreciate. But I think, yeah, the overall fan base probably had different opinions here and there. But yeah, that's also a little bit the name of the game.
If you were given the opportunity, would you do another season of Drag Race Holland, whether that's All Stars or whatever? Would you go back to the show?
I would have to think about that. At this moment, it's open. I would. It's been an amazing learning school. I learned so much about myself, grew on so many different levels that I didn't even know had anything to do with being on a TV show. Yeah, I might, but maybe there might be, different opportunities coming my way, and then it's a matter of, does it still fit my strategy?
Speaking of those opportunities, what is going on in the world with our pandemic, COVID, everything impacting live performance so heavily? How are you handling that, and how has that affected you?
Once we ended filming, we had one show in Antwerp with all the queens. That was like a full production show, and it was so much fun. It was our last show. It was our first show and our last show for now as a team. So me personally, I didn't have any bookings. This moment, bars, restaurant, clubs, they're all all closed. So everything that's going on is happening online. So I'm setting up my YouTube channel. I'm already creating some content there. And yeah, it's been a little bit of a struggle. You know, I want to come up with new concepts and ideas, and then I look at my bank account and it's one sad situation. I would like to take this moment to just ask everybody who's watching. I have my new merchandise shop out, so please go have a look. I have some really cute items there. Go get yourself your logo Chelseaboy t-shirt.
What is your website?
It's exochelseaboy.com.
Awesome. exochelseaboy.com. I also heard that if we make a Chelseaboy merch purchase from now until November 30th, that we could be entered for a chance to win a 5-minute video chat with you.
That's right. I will be giving away one 5-minute video chat with me to one person we select who bought some of my merch.
I love that. That's really special. Who are you rooting for now that we have a top 4?
I think from, you know, the gender non-conforming, the gender hybrid queens on the season, Mama Queen is the only one left. So I'm definitely rooting for her as the conceptual queen, and someone who's away from my aesthetic, but that I really admire is MP Peru. Whenever I do my makeup right next to her, my makeup gets so much better. Like there's this energy between me and her that when I sit next to her, I look flawless.
And I just want to say, Chelseaboy, thank you. Thank you so much for your time today and for your impact on the Drag Race franchise.
Thank you so much. What a compliment. Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll see each other soon.
I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Chelseaboy as much as I did. The full version with tons more questions and kiki time is posted over on my Patreon at patreon.com/BussyQueen. My patrons truly make Bussy Queen possible and get exclusive member benefits like early access to my videos, their name and credits, personal shoutouts, access to my deleted video archive, exclusive content, and more. Join my Patreon family to get in on the action and help me make videos at patreon.com/BussyQueen. I'd love to give a special shout out to A Queer Chaplain, Abby, Anonymity, Adam, Bly, Brandon, Catherine, Charlie, Chris, Christopher, Crystal, Curtis, Daniel, Dasani, Derek, Ed, Elizabeth, Emma, Evelyn, Hassan, Hannah, Ivan, Jake, Jager, James, Janine, Jen X, Joseph, Juan, Jude, Kelly, Manny, Matt, Maxwell, Michelle, Michael B, Michael H, Miguel, Onion Fairy, Oscar V, Oscar D, Reverend Terry, Rick, Robin, Shado, Sinclair, Stephanie, Susan, Taco Sita, Tony, Vanessa, Veronica, Victoria, Zincat, and Midnight 19, who were all supporting me at my hot tier. Adori, Anjo, Bradley, Cameron, Caroline, Craig, Evan, Freddie, Glenn, Jenny, Kevin, Kiki and John, Sailor, Shannon, Sky, Sloss World, Sunshine, Tina, and Timotheus, who were all supporting me at my hottest hot tier. And Aretha, Kevin, Marty, Mike, Matthew, and Tom, who were all supporting me at my Bussy Queen Collector tier. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Love ya. Bye.